There we go. All right, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Lauren Hedges. I'm the community manager for C3Tech, which is a program underneath the Windsor Hackforge umbrella. Tonight, we are meeting to talk about the C3Tech Cycling Hackathon, which officially kicks off in a couple of weeks. So we have a few people in here. I think everyone who's here right now has already registered, but I could be wrong. So if you have registered, great. If you have not registered, also great. There is no problem with that one way or another. Tonight, we're going to run through some of the basics of what's happening for the hackathon. We'll talk about what the whole event is, some of the schedule, the prize, which we have yet to announce. So everyone who's joining us here tonight is getting like the first official look at how that's going to work. So that will be fun. And there will also be some time for anyone who is here who is looking for a team but has yet to join one to maybe schmooze with others and get their team started. And of course, there will be time for questions. But as we go through, please feel free to ask any questions you may have about whatever topic we are currently on at that point. And it's going to be a pretty laid back session, so don't be worried about jumping in at any time. Joining me tonight, I do have Randy Topliff, who's helping out with the tech side of things. So if we do get to any of the more technically oriented questions, I will be passing it over to him, just a heads up. So I'll also note that C3Tech is sponsored by Parallel 42 Systems, the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab, Windsor Hackforge, the Countywide Active Transportation System, and the City of Windsor Bicycling Committee, which is a really long name, but they make it work. All right, so what exactly are we looking to do for this hackathon? The goal overall is to build tools that make cycling in Windsor and Essex County safer, easier, and more fulfilling. So to get all of this started, we do have Cycle OSM and B-Router set up on windsoressexcycling.ca. There's a GitHub repo to go along with it. You're not restricted to using these tools. These are just a starting point so that you can have somewhere to submit your changes. You can have a map to start with. But if you have an idea that doesn't use either of these two pieces of technology, that is totally fine. You are still more than welcome to move forward with that throughout the hackathon, and we'll see what we can do to tie it all together at the end. There are no problems at all there. Doug, thank you for putting that into the chat, much appreciated. So that's overall what we're looking to do. So at the end of the event, when we do have our closeout wrap up on June the 4th, one of the questions everyone will need to answer in their final presentation is how your tool achieves this goal of making cycling in Windsor and Essex County better in general. Okay. So as for the schedule, registration is already open. So you can sign up at any time. You can also send me a message if you have questions about your registration. There is no obligation. So if you register and then realize, oh man, I can't do it, May is way too busy, that is no problem. You can also feel free to still work on your proof of concept, work on your idea, and submit it at any time. The GitHub repo is not going to be closing on June 4th. That's just when we are doing the official prizes. So I can't guarantee any prize for anyone who is submitting outside of the hackathon, but you're still more than welcome to do so. So on April 29th, we're looking to do a pre-hackathon social. I realize here that I spelled hackathon incorrectly, but that's okay. You all know what I mean. This event is still in the works. We are hoping for this to be in person because social events on Zoom are the absolute worst. So it's all going to sort of depend how COVID things are going. So stay tuned for more details on that one. May 1st, one way or another, is going to be the virtual kickoff. So during this event, we will have some introductions from our project sponsors, as well as a roundtable event that will feature transportation activists, bicycle activists, and municipal planners from both the city and county. So what we're hoping with that is that it will give everyone kind of an idea of why C3Tech exists and help get us all into the headspace of what Windsor needs to improve its cycling infrastructure and the available information around cycling in the region. On May 7th, as part of Windsor Jane's Walk, we're running a micro mapping workshop. This will be happening in Ford City with a kickoff at City Cyclery. Then we're going to be showing everyone how to use a couple of different, well, one Android and one iPhone app to record traces, record points, and essentially submit your data to OpenStreetMaps, which is a really big part of this project. Since we are looking to use CycleOSM, which is OpenStreetMap based, we want to make sure people know how to contribute to that as well. It allows people who are not necessarily developers to still have a hand in making sure that Windsor Essex is represented as well as possible in these tools that we are creating. On May the 14th, there will be a group bike ride. So this is happening in partnership with Bike Windsor Essex, and it will be kicking off at 10 a.m. on the 14th in Kingsville. Then on June the 4th is our final project presentations and prize announcements. So every team or individual, anyone who creates a project, has the opportunity to present, explain, talk a little bit about how they would flesh this out, given a little bit more time, and our judges will choose the winners. Every Sunday following May 1st, we will be having a virtual gathering. This is something that is encouraged, but optional. You don't have to attend every single week. There will be a different theme. So one week we'll be talking about the basic idea that everyone's working on. So you can share with some of the mentors, perhaps some of the judges and project organizers, what you're planning to do, and just run your ideas by everyone to get a bit of a second, third, maybe fourth opinion on them. We'll also have events about design, about bug fixing, and these will include short presentations from some of our mentors and other professionals in the field so that everyone is getting the opportunity to learn and ask questions as we go through the hackathon. So again, all of this information is available on the HackForge website. So it's hackf.org. You just go through the blog posts on the front page. It's right in there. In terms of feature ideas, so again, you don't have to be working on anything specific, so you don't have to create something from this list. This is just a collection of ideas that we gathered from local cyclists via our online survey, as well as a virtual town hall. So if you yourself are maybe not a huge cyclist, you don't really know what cyclists would want to see, these are maybe something to at least get the ideas flowing for you, even if nothing here is specifically something that interests you. So right now, WindsorEssexCycling.ca is strictly web-based. Maybe you're interested in turning that into a mobile application. Maybe you want to create specific tourism routes. So you want to set up a wine route or a brewery route throughout the county, listing all municipal bike trails on a single map. This is a big one that a ton of people have asked for. If you're able to pull this off, you will be a hero to many cyclists who are often frustrated at the lack of this type of map. So something to consider. Cycling specific points of interest. So creating a map that includes all of the fix-it stations that have been put up by CWATS, all of the bike shops, maybe anywhere that you can get your tire filled or grab a bottle of water, things like that. And route suggestions based on safety is another really big one. You can use something like Google Maps to type in your A and B points, of course, but if I want to go from downtown to Lausanne, it might tell me to take Riverside, and I don't always like riding my bike on Riverside. I definitely don't like riding my bike on Tecumseh. So if we have route suggestions based on safety, we can allow users of the application to choose the route that they're the most comfortable with. Some people don't mind riding their bike on Riverside Drive. Good for them, more power to them. I myself don't trust it. So I would love to be able to see something that gives me more side streets, roads with less traffic. That would always be really nice. If that one is something specific that you are interested in, get in touch with me. I do have someone that I can kind of direct you towards to give you some more advice and insight into that idea. But again, these are just starting points. These are suggestions. Feel free to work on whatever you like, as long as it pertains to cycling and helps to improve the cycling experience in Windsor, Essex. You stand a chance of winning a prize. So the top prize, as I mentioned, is $500. This is being offered by Windsor Hackforge and the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab. This will be decided by our panel of judges, which includes, is Doug still here? Doug Sartori is included in that, so he will be joined by members of the Windsor Bicycling Committee, as well as the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab, to really judge what they're seeing. So it's going to be quality of code, quality of idea, the execution of the whole thing. And Doug is still here. Thanks, Doug. So $500 is up for grabs. And I'm going backwards apparently. So I want to turn it over now to everyone who is here. Those of you who have joined in, do all of you have teammates if you want teammates? Do any of you have a team started that you need someone with specific skills to join in with you? Feel free to unmute yourselves and talk about it, or you can put your notes in the chat and I will read them out for everyone. So I'll give you a second to do that. So we have had a number of people, I think 4 or 5, who have signed up so far that are specifically looking to join a team. A few of these folks do have various coding experience. So if you are looking for someone who specifically can do front end or specifically can do back end, we do have people available willing to join teams who have those skills. So there are lots of options there. It seems like we're not really into talking about it tonight, and that is okay. Another option everyone can consider is joining the Hackforge Discord. I have created some specific channels in there for this hackathon. There's one that is for general, all participants. That will be a really good spot to advertise your skills or the skills that you're looking for to help build out your team. So let me grab the link for that one, and I will put it in the chat so that everyone can, there we go ahead and join the Discord. If you don't like Discord, don't want to join Discord, that's totally fine too. You can always reach out to me. My email address is on the screen. I will also put it in the chat so you can get in touch whenever. Okay. So then if we don't have anyone who wants to talk about their team members, do we have any general questions about how the hackathon is going to run, about the tools that we already have available on windsoressexcycling.ca or the GitHub repo? We do have Randy, who's done a great job setting all of that up. We've got him here to help answer any questions anyone might have. So once again, feel free to unmute yourself or go ahead and put your thoughts in the chat. So Randy, while people are building up the courage there, is there anything that you want to add about the technical side of the hackathon that you think people should be aware of? No? Okay. Do you have a link to the GitHub repo so that everyone can take a look at it?
Yeah, I'll be posting that on the on GitHub once it, or not on GitHub, sorry, on the Discord channels, and I'll also give it to you so you can send it to everyone else, and that will be available shortly.
Excellent. That's great news. Thank you, Randy. So Randy, you are also going to be one of our mentors during the hackathon. So if anyone, what will people be reaching out to you for help with?
Any technical help, really. It could be pretty much anything. I can help with front end stuff, back end stuff, just general project management, stuff like that from a developer standpoint.
Do you specialize in any particular coding languages?
Technically many, but yeah. I mean JavaScript, like a lot of web-based ones and a lot of like mobile-based ones I'm pretty proficient at. So yeah.
Randy, can I jump in with a question? If someone is on the call or maybe they're watching their video later and they're thinking about working on the app that's in the repo, what should they be brushing up on or reading up on before the hackathon?
So the repo, that's a good question. I would say you would need to be proficient with JavaScript, and you'd also need to be proficient with like HTML, CSS, any sort of like browser-based technology. You probably want to look at leaflet.js, and you'd probably also want to look up and become familiar with TypeScript as well.
Thank you, Randy. So now that everyone's heard a little bit about those technologies, any specific questions?
Question. Ride with GPS. How can that be incorporated into what you are doing here?
That's a
You
great
mean
question.
just mean like location information in general?
Well, it's a pretty handy app, and you can upload like just about anything on it if you do a route on it, like restaurants, where to stay, other points of interest. How is this going to be different than Ride with GPS?
So the way that this will differ will really depend on the work that our developers and our volunteers do during these hackathons and throughout the rest of the year when everyone is welcome to submit code. So while Ride with GPS does allow for the creation of all of these different routes, this version here is going to be a little bit more Windsor specific. So if you're looking specifically for routes in Windsor that are all preloaded and ready to go, this will be a really good spot to come and find those. You're also going to be getting a lot of more specific points of interest that are coming directly from people with regular cycling experience in Windsor, Essex. We're also working on the potential for a few features, such as the ability to submit issues with bike trails and bike paths and make those available to other riders, as well as submitting them to the appropriate municipality for wherever you happen to find them. So a large branch blocking a path or a truck blocking a cycling lane. Not that that would ever happen in Windsor, of course not. But if it were to happen in Windsor, you might be able to take a picture of that and submit it to 311 through the app.
I can add on to this, Lauren, if you don't mind. The routing app, B-Router, the routing app that is part of the kind of the home app of C3Tech, the Windsor Essex Cycling.ca. It allows you to upload traces, your own GPS traces, and there's a potential, if a team is interested in in making that feature a little bit more robust and allowing folks to share GPS routes. That's a direction that we could go in as well.
The options are kind of limitless. And as I said, it just depends on the ideas that people come up with and the work that the developers and other volunteers do to build this out. Oh, got somebody else joining. So I have put a link to the full hackathon schedule in the chat so that you don't have to go scrolling through the Hackforge website to find that. That will be updated with more details as they become available, specifically relating to some of those potential in-person events. So stay tuned for more information on those. If you have registered for the hackathon, then you will be receiving periodic emails from me, nothing too crazy, but whenever there are changes to the schedule, updates on where and when things are happening, if we can do those in-person things. And we will also be making sure that everyone has all of as many tools as they need. So when we're running through the hackathon, I mentioned earlier that we will have some mentors available for everyone to work with. The way that that will work is each mentor will set up a specific number of hours each week. So perhaps Randy's available every Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m., for example. If you would like Randy's help with your code, you want to ask him a question, or you want to show him something, you'll be able to book 30 minutes or an hour with Randy on that evening. So you will have the ability to meet with a few different people as the month goes on. If you find that you need help with something specific that we don't currently have a mentor available that can help you on that topic, then you can reach out to me and I will do my best to find someone who is able to get you sorted there. So if no one else has any questions, we can go ahead and wrap this up for tonight. I do appreciate everyone who joined. As I mentioned earlier, this is being recorded and I'll be posting it later on so that those who are unable to make it tonight can still review all of this information. So please feel free to reach out at any time with any questions directly to my email, or you can join the Hackforge Discord and ask your questions in general to everyone. So thank you all for attending tonight, and I'm really looking forward to May the 1st when we can officially kick all of this off. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great evening. Bye.